There are so many things that make Grant Creek special and make it a creek that Missoulians should care about. Missoulians have a long history about caring for their waterways. The Clark Fork River used to run red where it runs through downtown, and the community has come together over and over and over again to clean up mining pollution, remove a dam, pass policies that protect riparian areas. So water is nothing new to Missoula. That's why Grant Creek is going to be a really compelling campaign for Missoulians. I'm Karen Knutson. I'm Executive Director of the Clark Fork Coalition, and I am overseeing the work of the Grant Creek campaign that my team is rolling out. Grant Creek right now, it's like the tale of two creeks. We've got 10 miles from the wilderness area in the Rattlesnake, where the creek is just rolling off mountains and trickling through dense forests and then fans out into this bucolic agricultural area. And then reality hits. It slams into development. It goes underneath an interstate. Then it's just a patchwork of subdivisions, industrial development, commercial development, and so that's a different creek entirely. So we've got one half is a wilderness creek, the other half is a pretty degraded urban stream. So we need to be able to tie these two pieces together.
Grant Creek I think it's kind of a unique drainage. I think some of the other streams are not actually in as bad a condition and are so neglected as Grant Creek. My name is John Drake, and I've been in Missoula for quite some time, since 1984 actually. I was a little surprised when I came here because it's nothing but an irrigation ditch. They had gone through some flood control and stream channel work a couple of years before I was interested in buying it, and they didn't finish the project. Since that time, we've been saddled with what is just nothing but an irrigation ditch that's eroding. It's unsafe, it's hazardous. When this thing is running water high, if anybody even got close to that, you'd never find them. And so we've been pushing really hard to try to get the channel more naturalized, something that we could enjoy and the public could enjoy. And so if we could get it to where the public could enjoy it, it would be fantastic. We need to look at it, I think, more as a community improvement project that everybody's gaining. You know, there should be trails and stuff out here. The biggest thing we have is the streams. They're up into the Bob Marshall or all these areas around here. So the streams and the community of Missoula should be really, really concerned about that its streams are at least healthy and that the people are working together to try to keep it that way.
Stream corridor restoration goes way beyond just habitat for fish and wildlife species. Having a stream corridor that is healthy, that allows the stream to move around a bit over time, to erode some banks and deposit sediment in other areas, all that dynamic nature can also help with things like flooding, things like drought, water quality, those sorts of things. When you have a stream that has a wide floodplain associated with it, instead of all that water rushing down a flume where it gains a lot of energy and can actually cause really problematic erosion, it dissipates that energy by being able to move around and by going into big pools or going into side channels. My name's Tori Ritter. I'm a non-game wildlife biologist for Fish, Life and Parks out of Missoula. So I cover the Clark Fork drainage, the Bitterroot drainage, and the Blackfoot drainage. Grant Creek is an important tributary of the Clark Fork River. And the Clark Fork, especially in this area of Missoula, has a big wide floodplain, beautiful habitat. So because we have all this beautiful habitat around the rivers of Missoula, these tributary creeks that flow into it are extremely important because they provide the connectivity between the large, big floodplains that everybody's used to and the creeks up in the mountains. And so if you have that connectivity between the valley bottom and the mountains, you have animals, both fish, wildlife species moving along those creek corridors. You know, it's very hard for those species to move through a city that's all streets and parking lots and things like that. If they have a nice wide riparian area full of vegetation to move through, it makes it a lot easier for them to get through those urban areas. The city of Missoula is built up around very special sources of water bodies. And the existing waterways that we have in this area are highly valued by the people of Missoula. You know, the Rattlesnake Corridor, the trails right along the Clark Fork River. These are those beautiful places that people can go to connect with nature right outside their back door. And Grant Creek represents another opportunity to bring in another beautiful riparian corridor that just adds to that plethora of really beautiful resources that we have in the Missoula area.
My name is Karen Sippy, and I have lived up in the Grant Creek Valley for 18 years now, and immediately fell in love with the creek itself and the beauty of it, and am fortunate enough to actually live on Grant Creek. I would love to see Grant Creek be this beautiful and have this scenery all the way from up here down to the Clark Fork River. I think most Missoulians have no idea that Grant Creek connected to Clark Fork. And now we've got this opportunity to extend what we've got up here all the way down to the Clark Fork River and go through Broadway and go through I-90 and through what most people have no idea is this beautiful or potentially beautiful watershed space in that industrial area. I am a huge proponent of any development, including any green space. For green infrastructure, for stormwater management, we need that for where we live, and especially when we're on top of a beautiful, healthy aquifer that we have, we want to keep this water here. So maintaining natural habitat, maintaining natural green space is really helpful for our aquifer that we're drinking. It's our drinking water that we're adding to this. So I think Missoula is really prime for this project. We do have great leadership that are environmentally minded, and they understand the importance of creating a livable community. You know, we've got people moving here. We want it to be a beautiful, livable space. People take for granted these beautiful trees and all these beautiful colors and shrubs and flowers and grass, and we take that for granted until it's gone.
Water is essential to life. It's the most precious molecule that we have on the planet. And so we've got to take care of our waterways. And Missoula is starting to understand that and really embracing that. And why not? I mean, I know that with a lot of urban stream restoration, sometimes the emphasis can be on just making it pretty and call it good. That doesn't go far enough. We're talking about making it ecologically functioning and really giving it the kind of restoration that our community deserves. A cleaned up, healthy, flowing waterway is the most wonderful thing. I mean, it's wild, wondrous, and, you know, accessible to all. The time is ripe now to bring the forgotten wilderness stream online as a healthy, ecologically functioning stream that will pay dividends for our community.